Good morning, everyone. It's August 4th, 2014. Welcome to day 4 of Musikfest here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, also known locally as, and beyond locally, as Beer Fest. Gee, I wonder why. Anyway, I just figured it's about 8:15 in the morning. I wanted to get here early, get over this section early so I can knock out 1 or 2 articles on both the best and the ups and downside of the festival. And also, I wanted to give you a quick run through of what it's like here before the crowds and the craziness starts. Right now, I'm coming up on Main Street. By the way, Michael Phoenix, founder of the magazine, just in case you haven't quite figured it out. But so with Main Street, Main Street is actually open to traffic before things really kick off around 5. Okay, I intentionally basically flat out skipped the first 3 days of Musikfest. Couple of reasons. Number one is I did 9 out of 10 here last year. So pretty much, if you want to check the archives to see what it's like. Second reason, there are other events going on, and I want to put emphasis on part of it this year and for you next year is while you're here, especially if you're not in the area and you're visiting, you know what? If you're going to be here for a couple days, yes, attend Musikfest. Awesome, intense. It's a great festival. Amount of free music is unbelievable, both local and from other areas. But while you're here, if you're going to be here for a couple days, you know what? Take a break, get in your car, take a walk around, find out everything else that's going on in the area, and that's what I want to put the emphasis on. To give the entirely Musikfest is a part of the picture here, but it's not the whole thing. And Bethlehem's a part of the picture, but it's not the whole thing. So, as you can tell, for lack of a better term, and to use a very old cliche, the calm before the storm. Trust me, especially on the weekends, this place gets insane. Check the video from when I was walking around here on Main Street on Saturday night. But here, I actually want to attack, first off, the downsides to Musikfest. Okay, especially this year on opening night, where in a lot of people's opinion who live in the area, I wouldn't say a lot, but there is an opinion in the area where Friday night, because of something unforeseen, the way they handled it was really screwed up. Anyway, before that, check the articles. The main downside to Musikfest, okay, is while I realize that they have to make an obscene amount of money to cover the bands, to cover the costs of the festival itself, okay, they also have to figure out a way to say, you know what, we want you to be safe. Our top priority is your safety here. So they need to figure out a way. They will not eliminate it, but to get better control on the alcohol abuse here. Okay? This is the last time I'm going to mention it, I promise. But from the organization itself down to the street level where they serve it, I realize that some do cut off, but the amount of people that are seriously wasted here, no. They need to enforce stricter rules as far as cutting people off and limiting the amount of drinks that you can have, because they've gotten pretty lucky over the first 31 years. Yes, this is their 31st. But at some point, at any given moment during this 10-day festival, especially at night, all it takes is 2 drunks, gang member, and somebody bumping into a gang member, whatever. And guess what? You have a serious situation that could spiral out of control very rapidly. Full credit. I give full credit and a lot of respect and a lot of thank you. In fact, Friday night, Saturday night, I went up to 3 Bethlehem police officers and said, thank you for helping to keep this festival safe. Full credit to the security, all the security, and to the Bethlehem Police Department here. I cannot give you guys and ladies enough credit. You're walking around, you're constantly watching what's going on. You are trying your best to make sure that nothing happens, okay? But the ratio of police and security, the number of people here, you are easily outnumbered, okay? And that's an understatement. But anyway, like I said, and people tell me, oh wow, everybody goes there to drink beer. Okay, so why don't you just rename it Beer Fest, save some money, cut back on the number of bands, and say screw it. Okay, it's not the only reason why people come here. People come here for the music. I realize that live music and beer, alcohol go synonymous, but in most cases, you're in a bar, you're in a situation where it's mainly, for the most part, adults only. Here at Musikfest, you have between the north and south side, even at 9:30 at night, people walking around with their families, little children, little kids. Okay, even at 10 o'clock when they shut it down here. That is my primary concern, where all it takes is the slightest spark, and guess what? You have a lot of people that can get a very high possibility for a lot of people, both adults and children, to get seriously hurt or worst case scenario, killed. So the downside, one of the main downsides to this is they really have to limit. They got to enforce stricter rules here, period. I know they never will. It'll never happen, but they need to. Another downside to this year. Two more, and this is on the music end. Okay, the Lehigh Valley has a fantastic, dead serious, both cover and original music scene. Hell of a lot of bands have been around for 10, 15 years or more. And new bands and new musicians coming up every day. Christ, all you gotta do is go to an open mic to see it. Period. Okay? But one of the downsides to it from the music side and from the business aspect is that I don't know the selection process. I don't know how that works. Okay? Next year, if I have the time, I'll do some interviews and find out more from the behind the scenes aspect. But while there are a lot of local bands that perform here, you have Court the Wine Bar jumped on the bandwagon this year and has live bands. You have Wooden Match Plots. You have the Fun House. You have several businesses that have local bands here, but they're not featured on the stages. Okay, where they have a selection process, but you have some bands that appear 2 times on 2 different stages here. Okay, some local bands. Now, while this is great for that band and to increase the amount of people that can see them, what it does is you also just eliminated chances to showcase and highlight other bands, even especially with different genres. And I mean, the hip hop and rap scene here is grossly, and I'm not a fan of it, but it is grossly and almost embarrassingly not really represented here at Musikfest too well. And I'm sorry, I don't give a shit about what type of crowd you say it's going to draw. You know what? There's all types of people here. So while it's great to do that, another aspect that needs to be done is to limit each band to one stage, and then okay, cool, we're going to perform a second time, but our second show is at one of the bars or clubs like the Hotel Bethlehem, Court the Wine Bar, the Matchplatz, or even here on the street, on Main Street or something, right here on Main Street. Instead of having bands double, a select number of bands doubling up on stage performances, you know what? Cut it back to say, okay, you get one performance, that's it, period. That's it, period, done deal. Then, but okay, let's get you booked somewhere else. This way, it gives a chance for more local cover and original bands to say, "Hey, check us out," and it gives people a much wider view of the entire Lehigh Valley music scene. So that's another thing that, in my opinion, has to change. Really needs to change from the music standpoint. Also, there are some bands, local bands that you see here every year, and believe me, myself and Valley and Beyond supports the entire music scene. Okay, but we also see areas that the playing field is severely slanted, and what we're trying to do is, in every aspect, level it for people, everyone, from your brand new solo artist all the way up to your bands that have been here around for 15 years, have a serious shot at Musikfest and to be featured on a stage, and across the board here in Lehigh Valley. We're just trying to level the playing field. I don't care if I can't stay in the band. We will still support them, because you're a part of the local music scene here. All right, so, but another thing, you have bands that are here every year. Maybe another suggestion is rotate out the bands. Okay, maybe this wasn't the best place in the world to do it. Rotate out the bands, okay? For the bands that are here every year, you know what? Again, on the main stages. I'm not talking about on the street or at any of the establishments like Steel Pulp. I'm talking about here on the main stage. Have a limit where, okay, you were on a stage this year. You know what? Next year you won't be. Granted, you might piss off that band, but again, it adds a better variety to the festival itself, and it also gives it surprises people. It gives people, both local and non-local, a better view of the entire Lehigh Valley music scene, not just a select number of musicians and bands. Okay, if you want to say, if bands get pissed off at me for saying this, you know what? If you can at least agree with me and see the validity of the point, I really don't give it. If you're one of those types of people that are going to get pissed off at me and say I'm being biased and everything, I really don't care. Okay, honestly, love all the bands here, support all the music, but everyone deserves a decent shot. I've been to an open mic to see some fantastic talent that deserves to be on those stages. So, again, they need to rotate out the bands so that you have, for the people that are here that go every year, it doesn't get boring. Okay, well then, you don't, next year it won't be, okay, well, we know these bands are automatically going to be there. Give everyone a fair shot. Rotate them out. Limit them to one stage performance per festival. Period. I know these changes will never happen, but I always have to try. So, with that being said, that's the main downsides to Musikfest. Oh, in addition to what everybody bitches about, which everybody complains about, which I'm like, okay, whatever. The parking, the $10 parking, the high-priced food, the crowds, things like that. Those are your normal gripes. But those are your normal complaints pretty much about every major festival. Had to throw those in just because it's what I hear. All right. So those are the main downsides to Musikfest. Part 2 is going to be the reasons why you should get your ass here, even if you live in Siberia. Find a way to get here for this. All right. Michael Phoenix, founder of the magazine. Thank you very much for your support and for listening to me to drone on and on through every review and article. For checking out Megan and Carrie and everything we do. Hopefully we keep surprising you and we don't get too boring and predictable. By the way, just a quick heads up, while we still will always, every edition you will see music in one aspect or another. I know myself personally, I'm going to be backing off the musical just a hair for the magazine, a little bit for the magazine after the fest, just to take a break for myself. To you, your family and friends, be safe in the night and always. If you're attending Musikfest, yeah, those were the downsides, but you know what? Get your ass out here, enjoy it, and have fun. Trust me. The music and the experience alone is easily worth it. Hopefully, you might see me around at some point. Later.